Is your social media account on life support? Like just a bunch of pre-downloaded graphics or things that you've made in Canva? If it is, rest assured you're probably in the majority of other youth workers or even church communications, social media managers who know that there's more for social, but you just don't have the capacity or the bandwidth or maybe the desire to take it to that next level. But in this video, what I want to do is I want to help you take your social media from broadcasting a message to engaging a message. And in the video playlist that we've been currently in, linked right here at the top of the screen if you're watching here on YouTube, we've been talking about communicating in your church, communicating with better church announcements. And one of the key elements and areas that I think a lot of churches wrongfully default to is posting their announcements to social media. And that's where you're just broadcasting about you. But I want to shift your strategy to engagement. Social media's invention, social media's existence, its best existence is not for information transfer. However, it is a good spot for inspiration along with entertainment. So give me a like if you've ever had your social media account look like this that you're seeing here on screen if you're watching on YouTube, or give me a sub if these announcement-based posts have actually returned and yielded good results for you. The fact is they probably haven't, and that's why in this video I want to lay out my 3-step social media strategy. And as always here in the Hybrid Ministry Show, there are chapters linked down below. Welcome everyone to the Hybrid Ministry Show. Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the Hybrid Ministry Show. If you and I haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Clason. I've been in youth ministry for 14 years, and I've always known and seen the importance of a social or a digital media existence and a presence. However, COVID really ushered that in, and as sort of a result of what COVID did, not only like around me, but in me, I decided like, man, I see churches going a certain direction and down a certain path, and like, I want to be a voice that has something to say about it. And interestingly enough, I was on a live stream not too long ago, if you want to go check it out, with Download Youth Ministry, and Josh was like, why are you the guy we're talking to? And I said, it's interesting because I just started recording videos in my guest bedroom early in the morning, and here I am now on a live stream answering more questions to other people. But it was because I was so passionate about this idea of social and digital media. And so I don't think that when we're just posting announcements that we're doing, first of all, any service to our social platforms, to the algorithms, nor are we really serving our audience, especially on social, in a discovery era where people stumble upon accounts that they've never seen before. But your Canva graphic for the chili cook-off that's only getting a handful of likes, that's not being discovered by anybody new, nor even probably your current church members. And so you're really just making double the amount of work for you. And we've been discussing that in the last 3 videos about more effective communication, where I laid out better communication strategies for all churches and youth ministries. But in this video, what I want to do is I want to say, okay, so if that's what you're supposed to do, if you're supposed to kind of lean in on email and lean in on your website and lean in on social for inspiration and entertainment, what exactly should you be posting? I'm glad you asked. I have 3 steps for everyone in their social media. It's a 3-step social media checklist. Step number 1 is make sure that your website is up to date. I've said that in every single video so far that we've been in this playlist, and it's true because when you take away social as an avenue for announcements, or when you reduce your amount of stage announcements, there still has to be a full-bodied, one-stop, robust shop for your church people to fall to. And I think the best spot for that is your church website. In the first video, we talked about the difference between Netflix TV and cable TV. And so when your website is a great spot, it can be a Netflix type location, an on-demand type location, rather than Hopefully they see the graphic that has the info on social media. Hopefully they saved the email that you sent with the registration link. Hopefully they just have a photographic or, whatever the audio version of that is, memory from your stage announcement to do exactly what you want them to do in that moment. And if any people don't have those things, they're just in deep trouble. However, if you have a great website, none of those things matter as much, at least on the information side, right? You can still inspire them with a stage announcement. You can still be witty on social media, and you can still send a awesome email, but your website is the place where they can go to for that information that they really need to download and also move toward action. Okay. And so as we've been talking about, I can actually, if that's something anyone's interested in, I can actually do that for you. I can build a website for you one time, or you can kind of contract me to just come on and run that on an ongoing basis, as well as even potentially we can explore what it would look like for me to run that plus your social media. But step number one, regardless of if it's me, regardless of if you use NUCLEUS, which I recommend, your website just very simply needs to be up to date. I don't care what you use. I don't care who you use. I don't care how you get it there, but make sure your website is good and thorough and up to date. Okay, that's the first step in the social media strategy process. Let's move on here to step number 2. So your website kind of being up to date, that sort of satisfies the first check in the process. And that also makes what I'm going to recommend here on social, which is the second step here. The second step is you kind of want to become enamored with shorts, reels, TikTok style videos, because when your website is good, you don't have to worry about the information. So now you can leave that behind and you can now move ahead towards the era that social is really made for and meant for. And so quick trip down history and memory lane. 2020, TikTok ushered in this new era of social called the discovery era. It was made popular with an app called TikTok. It is now banned in the United States of America, at least in the App Store right now. But TikTok brought in this brand new style and archetype of video. In fact, it was so popular that not even 4 years later, according to VIDIQ, 90% of the internet's traffic is found on short form vertical based video, because every other platform then was trying to catch up and keep up with this brand new one called TikTok. Shorts, Reels, Facebook has them, Instagram has them, YouTube has them, and even other places like Twitter, if you're even on there, it'll be on a video, you'll be watching a video and it'll auto scroll to the next one. They even built in the scrolling type functionality, and there's a couple of pieces of relevant things with it. First of all, it's video based and it's short and it's quippy and it's fun. But secondly, like I said earlier, it's that discovery era. If you jump on Reels on Instagram, or if you jump on your TikTok For You page, more than, I think, 90% of I believe that's the stat, of the videos that you're served are from people that you've never actually even met. And so that's good news for you and I as churches and youth ministries. We can get onto other people's For You pages without buying their attention, or without having them have to follow or subscribe or know about our channel. The key is producing good content. And so step 1, website. Step 2, start focusing on good shorts, which is why I've created down below my hybrid strategy guide. It will not only lay out my plan and what I do in my student ministry, but it will also give you different ideas and types of content that you can use for your social media and for your shorts. But like in our student ministry, I post 10 different pieces of content every single week, and it's all different kind of like styles of content. And so if you'd like more info on that, you definitely need to hop down and grab my free strategy guide. It will lay out how we do it, what we do, and how we capture it, how we batch record it. I also talked about it in my live stream. A lot of different videos on my channel will kind of unpack it. And so I'm not going to, bog you down with that info here on this video, but go check it out. Go subscribe. Go listen to some old podcasts, and we'll get you covered on what exactly we do. Moving on to step number 3 then is shorts are great, and if you don't have any capacity and you need to stop there and bolster your strategy and bolster your infrastructure to make that happen, then by all means do that. But then step 3, the eye on the prize for all churches and youth ministries, is you want your long form primary teaching content posted to YouTube. 90% of teenagers, according to Pew Research, are on YouTube. And so Generation Z and Generation Alpha are landing in and making YouTube home. In fact, according to a book called Meet Gen Alpha by McCrindle and Fell, they said that YouTube is actually supplanting Google as the #1 primary search engine for Generation Alpha. And so you want to be on YouTube. And if you're running your church social media for your like overall church, you probably have some measure, some version of a live stream. That's great. Put that on YouTube. If your equipment is good and working, then great. Put that on YouTube. In student ministry, if you have the ability to do that, then go ahead, put that on YouTube and anywhere else you want to put it, but you definitely have to make sure that you put it on YouTube. And then if you don't have anything, which my strategy guide will lay out exactly how we do this in our environment and in our setting, we don't have any live stream equipment. And so we actually sit down before the message several weeks ahead of time, pre-record our message using like a teleprompter, and we've built out like a full studio. Like I can have all that stuff linked down below. You can check out my studio episode, and you can buy any of the stuff that we have that might be helpful for you. And I also have a Patreon where I'm talking about how I implement my hybrid strategy in my environment every single week. And that podcast is $4 a month. It's one extra bonus podcast per week. Plus, literally, I think I throw in a freebie almost every single week. So I believe that that podcast is a very nominal fee for a lot of value. And so if you want to kind of go all in on this hybrid strategy, I would recommend that. But we sit down, we pre-record it, and then we post those to YouTube, trying to answer some of life's hard questions with our titles, with our tags, and even with our thumbnails. And so again, comms for you, I can help you with that. But the goal then is to take your short content and build an audience that eventually promotes and pushes people over to your long form content. That's the mecca of your social platform. And what that does is that reduces the anxiety, that reduces the pressure that is on your social channels to communicate your announcements. If your website's doing its job, then your short form content, both fun and serious, can point to and promote your long-form content, which is serious, which will also then help answer students' big questions about life and faith, regardless of if they're in your context or not, with an eye towards and with the focus on your students or your people in your context. And then, like, just a next steps form or some way for them to respond to whatever sort of like message that you have put on YouTube. And what I would recommend again is that takes us all the way back to step number 1. Make sure there's a good like digital next steps form, one that's universally used and applied in all of your settings when you're teaching. And then with that link, you can just post that in the comments of a YouTube video, and your website is helping serve your holistic hybrid and digital strategy. And that is my 3-step social media process. Make sure your website's up to date. Lean into shorts. Start producing as many of them as you can that make realistic sense during your week. Just be consistent with it. Don't have a number in mind, and then all with an eye toward the prize of start posting your long form messages to YouTube. And in all of that, I can help with coaching. I can help by running it for you. I can help on my Patreon. I can help on this channel for free. So give me a subscribe if you would like to hear more about that topic. But until next time, and as always, my friends, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you trying to communicate in a digital and noisy world. But I want to encourage you to stay hybrid.